then I will, I'm just going to very, very quickly go through the pictures that are here to say you need a wheelbarrow or a cart. And we go locally for those because you want to hold them in your hand. You want to put your hands on it. Our carts now don't have, our wheelbarrows don't have straight sticks. It took us a while to get used to this handle, but now we can't do without it. If you don't have a cart or a wheelbarrow, then maybe you pull things along on a sled, which kids' sleds work just as well as anything else. As I said earlier, A.M. Leonard has Gardener's Edge, which lets you buy things in ones and in a more retail presentation, but for the same price. I've compared, and it's the same price in their A.M. Leonard catalog as their Gardener's Edge. For a trowel, we want a strong attachment. Boy, there's lots of different trowels. I like my Corona trowel because I like a narrower trowel, but I sometimes am in a hurry, and so I use a wider trowel. But where did I get them from? I don't even remember. Corona does sell them directly, so I know the one that said Corona you can still get. I know Lee Valley has at least 7 different trowels. I'm not sure that I want to pay $40 for a trowel. A.M. Leonard sells these that used to be kind of an exclusive thing made by a Michigan company, and longer handled ones, and does have a no blister and a gel grip. This one, I can't see the end of it right now. You probably can, but it's curved over. It's a bit of a curved handle. Gretchen is recommending her Hoku knife is better than a trowel and has an easy grip handle. And our knives are a little bit later along in the pictures. We like a metal tine rake now. I like this one that I can change the width of, but more and more as I'm losing arm strength, I'm better with a spring steel rake. If you're getting a steel tines, you want the bar to brace them. This gives you more power as well as keeps them in line. The plastic rakes are good, and bamboo rakes are good for big fluffy leaves, and that's probably about all. My spring steel rake that I like has 24 tines. That's the difference between an 18 tine and a 24 tine. Bow rakes we'll get into a little bit later. Mostly the stores are going to have those spring steel rakes or your plastic or bamboo rakes. And that's all you're going to be able to choose from. But they're inexpensive. They don't last forever because this clasp, which you can make the handle longer or you can leave it short and you lock the clasp. The clasp is what wears out. I think it's still worth it to have them.
I will just second. I cannot imagine raking without that adjustable rake.
Getting into garden spaces, yeah, you need
Yep.
to have that. But for lawns and big areas and cleaning up when I've been edging, that spring steel rake is what I want to have. And this is the one that I have, the Razorback. Loppers are important to have because we get into things bigger than we need to get into. These are our Falcos, which have been good for a long time. A Falco knockoff, and then just your standard pick them up at the garden center loppers. As long as you can keep them sharp, they're all worth using. But when you get into these bigger ones, the handles extend, the blades are bigger, longer. These are extendable handles, heavier ratchet tops on them. They're almost impossible to get into what we're doing. We gardeners are working to take out one branch, one cane out of a shrub, and you're trying to get in. You can't open these wide enough once you get into those small spaces. So we use, for loppers, we use the Fiskars, which are still available. Cross my fingers, this is going to still be available. You have to use online at Home Depot to get them. But these have a short handle. They're a ratchet type, so you get a lot of power out of your cut. They are anvil types, so we use them, we call them our destructo loppers. But I'm finding more and more, I think they might be being discontinued by Fiskars, so grab them now while you can, because you'll find this out of stock note in too many places. But while you still can at Fiskars, if you need a pole pruner, something that you can reach up to prune high, these are throw away the saw. It's worthless. It is impossible to prune properly with these kind of pruners, not unless you can get up high. What you want is the clipper, and for that I say get the Fiskars while they're still available. Throw the saw away, because what you want is that blade right there that prunes that way and has a chain drive that you pull down, in order to make that close. It's a wonderful pruner. I don't know why nobody has come up with this one before. But I'm afraid, since now the replacement heads and blades are being out of stock at Fiskars, I'm afraid they're going to discontinue that one. So get one while you can. That'd be a great present for people. You would not believe how wonderful it is to prune with that. The ARS hedge shears are the best we've ever found. ARS has a very good blade on them. And you can find these at A.M. Leonard's. And you'll find a lot of knockoff. It's not accidental that they make the handles red or red-orange on other types too. The shock absorbers are important on any kind of loppers or head shears. Otherwise, your elbows are taking that stress. And you can find lots of different kinds of shears. But I don't use them that much, not unless you prune the way that we tell you to prune and you're tight pruning. Then you are going to thin first to take the big heavy branches out, and your shears are only going to be cutting light stuff. If you have to hack and hack at it with head shears, yeah, they're not doing your arms or the shrub any favors. You're probably going to need a bow rake or a landscape rake. Bow rakes are called bow rakes because of this. This makes this stronger than a straight blade. This is stronger and it gives you more strength when you're pulling it. This is a landscape rake for leveling things, and they're great for people that live on lakes. They tend to use them to take out seaweed. And all of those are at A.M. Leonard. Mulch forks, I don't know how we used to, we always used to just scoop our mulch. And then we discovered mulch forks. And one of the volunteers at the zoo had one. They are very nice for picking up mulch without putting a lot of pressure into the lift. And you need cleaning and sharpening stuff. For this, the local hardware stores get my big applause all the time. They have pocket honing stones, small honing stones. So ace, and they don't cost very much to sharpen your pruners. You're also going to need brushes. I use this brush right here to clean off my knees. Well, because I'm going to hang my work pants up by the door and they're going to dry and all that dirt's going to flake off of them. I first brush off my knees with a brush. Most places though, here's the Lee Valleys and same with Home Depot and Lowe's, they have these big blocks to sharpen with. That doesn't work for pruners. Hand pruners, you need a little pocket stone. So go to your local places. And shovels, there are tons of different kinds of shovels. We use a scoop shovel for mulch and soil and picking things like that up. But shovels are meant for digging dirt and lifting dirt. That's what they're for digging holes. And that's not necessarily what most of us are doing, but that's what most places carry are shovels, not spades. So don't worry about finding a shovel. You'll find lots of shovels, including drain spades, which is a shovel meant to dig narrow, deep holes for things like your drains. And some people call them poaching shovels or poaching spades for going into small spaces in the border to dig out one plant from among a bunch. A lot of people are swearing by these now, these serrated blade spades. I'm on the fence about them. Someone got me one and said, here, you have to try it, but I have very few reasons to use a shovel. And when I do, I can usually cut with a spade. So I haven't tried this very much yet, but we'll let other people commend them. A lot harder to sharpen this than to sharpen this. Long handles, short handles. I have a mini shovel. I like it. You can shovel on your knees when you need to actually lift dirt. Hammer and chisel has become a thing that I have to have now because of taking girdling roots out of plants that I'm putting in. And you can pick up chisels anywhere. You need a bunch of different sizes. Power tools we won't show you pictures of, but I like my little electric pruner. I like my electric clipper. And then there's a lot of miscellaneous things. We've shown you my Rambo knife that I like a lot. This is just a Home Depot purchase, but there are lots of places that offer different knives. I need to have bolt cutters to take off the cages on trees that somebody planted with a bolt with a cage on them. The best sprayer in the world is this Zep professional sprayer you can pick up at Home Depot. I don't know why it doesn't clog, but it doesn't clog. Thank you, Mark, for telling me about that originally. A knife is important, and this is what you'll find a lot of different ones. What matters is what feels good in your hand, because all of them are losable, so you shouldn't spend too much money on them. And all of them are things that if you don't hold them well, you're going to cut yourself rather than what you're trying to cut. Look at this guy. Does that look wicked or what? I think that would hurt somebody. Okay, so any first-hand commendations I'm hoping have come into the chat so that I can read the chat transcript, and I'll append that on the audience materials page so you can download the whole thing. Or of course you can save the chat now or email us and we'll send the chat to you. If there are any questions from anyone who'd like to stick around, then we can talk. We and the sparrows here.
Yeah, we do have some confirmation from folk that colored handles. Why would you not have colored handles on gardening tools?
Right. You
Yeah,
have to have
just
some
bananas.
small chance of finding them. I find that once they fall into the peony, they're gone anyway, but colored handles.
There's a pair of clippers I have that I think are Fiskars that have like one little orange flash right up where all the dirt gets anyway. It's like, that's not gonna help. Oh yeah, Jean says she spray painted hers orange. Yeah.
Yes, spray paint.
Yeah.
Spray paint works.
So for those who are leaving, very happy holidays to everyone. Michelle is curious about the best tool for cutting down miscanthus, and I said industrial laser. I'm not sure if you have recommendations there.
I cut them with loppers. I strap I bungee cord the miscanthus together so that it's got some tension put on it, and then I work from the bottom and I nip away with them. Otherwise, you use a brush cutter. It looks like a weed whip, and to a certain extent, you might try a weed whip, but it looks like a weed whip, but it has a fixed blade on it. It's called a brush trimmer or a brush cutter. You can rent them, or you can buy them if you get serious about them. But it's dangerous. I mean, it is cutting like the Perils of Pauline saw. But that's the only way and that's why we don't grow miscanthus very much anymore. Steve and I, we look at big stands of miscanthus and go, oh my gosh, I'm glad that's not me having to cut that down.
Yeah, Nancy says an electric hedge trimmer. I suspect my husband would go get his Sawzall because he wants to use his Sawzall on everything.
I have heard
And
people who use the chainsaw, and I think that's dangerous to use that near the ground. It's going to hit a rock.
Getting recommendations for electrical tape and duct tape around handles too, especially if you're working with other people and want to be able to identify yours.
Identifying your tools. That's one of those things. Oh, I used to put rubber bands around ours when we were going to joint, to group things. I would put rubber bands around, put 2 rubber bands around mine. Anyway.
We have friends who are contractors who, especially on their very expensive tools, put like princess stickers and things that will make them unappealing to others to take. It's like, that's a really great Milwaukee drill, but it's got, jasmine all over it. So guess I won't take it. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? I think that's kind of where we're at. I'm just checking if I've missed anything else.
That's fantastic.
Oh, sorry. Barbara's asking recommended eye protection. Barbara, we glasses wearers tend to just hope that our glasses do most of what they do.
Yeah, and Steve buys his at the local hardware store. He buys the goggles for our chipper or shredder when I'm using the chainsaw. Yeah, my glasses, I've become very used to just having my glasses get scratched up. I tried to wear contact lenses for a little while, and I was constantly putting my head in the bushes. So we'll call that the end then for Smart Gardeners Clothing and Tools. The next time we'll be here is January 13th. For the winter now, we're going on a monthly schedule. And we're just about to send out, for those of you who are enjoying these webinars, I hope you'll join us next year. We're going to go monthly, but every week when we're not doing a webinar, offer a Friday evening question and answer in our garden session so we can separate the in our garden from our webinars. And we'll be sending out a schedule for that. If we get enough people, then we'll do this again another year. But on January 13th, we'll be back for Collector's Garden. And we've been trying and missing all year long Cheryl and Pierre, and you might remember Pumpkin, the cat, will be back with us for the Collector's Garden. I think you should not miss that. It's also happens to be Pierre's 90th birthday. And you won't believe it when he's there talking to you, but nobody knows collector's plants better than Pierre. So
wait, 90, and you saw
that's a lie.
Before, that's a lie. That's witchcraft. That's a bargain with some sort of warlock patron. I'm not okay with that information.
Yep. He will live forever. Okay. Yep. Thank you for being with us today, and go enjoy.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Take care, everyone.